Chatting with guitar great Joe Bonamassa today. Joe, how's your day going, bud?
Everything's going good. We're just getting started. So we're in Cape Cod tonight, and everything's going great. So the band's been playing good. Setlist is going over. Crowds have been nice. So can't complain.
Very cool, man. Well, I always love to kind of hear how everybody gets started doing their thing. So I was wondering if you could kind of give me a little synopsis of how you got your start in music.
I started playing guitar 38 years ago, and my father played guitar, and my grandfather played trumpet, and my great-grandfather played trumpet. The Bonamassas have been making a living in the music business for almost 75 years. And this year I turned 30 years professional. So I've been around.
When did you get your very first guitar?
I was four, so about 38 years ago. Santa Claus.
Ah, that's awesome. So did you take any lessons or self-taught?
Probably a bit self-taught in a few lessons, and mostly by ear. I'm an ear player, I just had the ability to listen to an album and, play along with it.
What was your very first gig that was actually like, you were playing for other people and maybe even for money, even for not money?
Well, for money, it was November 8th, 1989, and I was 11 years old, and I just turned 12, and it was a gig in my hometown of Hardee, New York, and basically, we played for $5 at the door, and 600 people showed up, and I said, you know what, this is much better than a paper route, so that was it. So I'm coming up on 30 years in November, my first paying professional gig. And, got my new guitar out of the deal and, a tax return.
Of course, yeah. Actually make a living out of that. You get to do what you love every day for work.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, when was the first time you kind of, sat back and were like, whoa, I've actually made it. I'm a pretty big deal now.
I'm perpetually going to be mired in as a D-list celebrity. Very best, D, E, F, To me, every time I can walk on stage and play music for people, I feel like I've made it. And this will be our 5th year of Red Rocks. Come on. I didn't even think I'd play there once, and let alone do it 5 years in a row, let alone doing 2 nights in a row. I'm a very lucky guy. I play blues guitar, and I have an odd-sounding last name, and no hit songs on the radio, and I can play Red Rocks every year. And it's an honor. It really is an honor. That's how you know you've made it.
Absolutely. Well, and it's great because you see you hear about a lot of celebrities that they kind of are like, well, this is this moment, but you really seem to be all about the fans, and that's very cool and something definitely to be admired for in this day and age.
Well, at the end of the day, they put you there, and you know what I mean. And at the end of the day, you have to understand that how you got there and why you stay there. Versus, being some artists don't know how they got there and they don't know why it goes away. And that's one of the things that you need to figure out. Really, it's about, you're in the entertainment business. You're not in the guitar business. You're not in the song business. You're in the entertainment business. And if people entertain and they come to the show and they enjoy themselves and they come back, that's the name of the game.
I was going to say, have you always been kind of a showman?
I'm a character. I play a character up on stage. I'm not that guy off stage. But when I get up there and put the suit on and the sunglasses, it's a different. I'm a different person. I'm a totally different person.
Do you by chance remember the first song you learned how to play?
When I was 6 years old, I learned Jimi Hendrix's version of Voodoo Child, Slight Return. And after that, it was the only song I ever learned note for note. And then after that, I would just kind of get the gist of the song. And because I wanted to play in my own way and my own style, so I did not want to just learn covers. I've never learned covers in my life. And, I've covered songs, but I've never learned them. You know what I mean? And it's because I never wanted to play like that. I wanted to just kind of see what the artist was thinking when they came up with it, and then try to come up with something on my own.
See, I learned when I took guitar lessons. First song I learned was "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star." So I think you've got me beat on that one.
That's basically everybody learns that 1 finger C chord and the 2 finger D, and it's all pretty basic at the beginning. But what you have to do is more importantly is you make the commitment. I want to be a guitar player and stick the landing. And that's what separates people who do it professionally from people who don't, is they stick the landing and they work hard at it. It's not easy.
No, I actually kind of gave up on a guitar after like about 6 months. I still have it. It's pretty nice little Les Paul that I've got that my dad actually got for me, but I want to pick it back up one of these days.
Yeah, it's when the right time comes, you pick it back up, And there's times I go weeks without playing. You know what I mean? I just don't feel like it. But when you get back into it, it's a commitment.
I was going to say, are you kind of at the point now where you can take some time off and not have to practice, or do you still have to really just kind of keep that going each time?
Well, when you're 22, you could basically do anything you want. When you're 32, you could kind of do anything you want. When you're 42, you have other commitments in life, and you're a full-fledged adult. Sometimes you just don't have the time, and you have to make the time. It's because real life comes up real quick, and you got to make sure you woodshed and you play and maintain that skill that you have, because it does erode if you just let it go. You just don't start where you left off.
When you were younger, when you were like watching the rock stars do their thing, is there anything that like now that you're actually up on stage and you're the rock star, do you see any? Is there anything that you kind of took you by surprise? You're like, oh, this is not what I expected.
It's a lot more work. The thing about it is what people don't realize is that they work their whole life to achieve some sort of success in anything. And what they don't realize is as soon as you turn the corner and somebody hands you a blue ribbon and says, hey, you finally made it in the thing you worked your whole life for, the actual work begins at that moment. It's more work now than it ever has been. And unfortunately, it doesn't get any easier until you retire. And that's pretty much, the people that say they can do it with stipulations, to me, never end up where they want to be. Or maybe some luck out and they do. But ultimately, it does require that word commitment. It is a job. It really is a job. It's not just a... Was
there anyone that you really aspired to be like growing up? Or were you kind of like, I'm going to do my own thing?
I enjoyed, my favorite singer-songwriter, guitar player has always been Eric Clapton. And, I think the career he's had and the path that he's taken is really admirable. And he really is somebody to look up to as an artist and as a person. And he did me a solid 10 years ago when he came out of the Albert Hall and basically put me in business. It's never lost on me, my relationships with guys like B.B. King and Eric Clapton and people like that. It's been I've been very lucky to have that.
Well, I know we got a lot of your fans that have seen you before going to Red Rocks, but for some of those who may be like, okay, I might want to check out this Joe Bonamassa guy. What can they expect? What's something you can kind of tell them about the show?
Well, I don't have any hit songs, but I have songs that people enjoy within the catalog. So we've gone back and kind of brought out some of the best of that bunch. So it's really more original songs than I've ever played in the show. It's 95% original songs and songs that have been album titles and big songs for me in the past, and a few that have been on the radio, and so it's more of an outside show than it has been in past years. So we're having fun with it, and it's great because I revisited a lot of those songs with the big band format. We have an 8-piece band, and a lot of those songs were cut with a 4-piece band or a 3-piece band. So it's been nice to orchestrate them for horns and backing singers and the full power of the big band. So it's been great. It's been a good experience.
That's awesome, man. What can you think of throughout your time? Was there ever like a on-stage blunder that ever happened? Something that stuck out? You're like, oh boy, how do we get out of this?
But I am conscious of my weight because you don't want to split your pants on stage. No, the issues that you have on stage, nobody ever knows. Like things happen. But if you can correct and get out of them, no, the audience will never know, and the show goes by quick.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to radio too, because there's stuff that happens behind the scenes that people are like, "What? We had no idea that happened." So
yeah, and for you, it seems like an hour. It's a nanosecond for the audience, but it's the most terrifying 3 seconds of your life when something goes wrong with the console, and it's same thing with playing a gig. But if you just get through it, and you don't panic, that's the trick, is not panic.
That's the big one. Yeah, there's a couple times in my career where I was like, oh, don't panic, slow down, dead air. It's not that big of a deal if it's 5 seconds.
The sun will rise again tomorrow. You know what I mean?
It's a good philosophy, my man. Well, you know what? We are really looking forward to seeing you play here at Red Rocks. You're a very, very talented guy, very successful career, and just from talking to you right now, I can tell you're just a good dude all around. So I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today, Joe.
I appreciate it, and looking forward to coming to Denver at the end of the month. It should be a lot of fun.